Om. 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 Saishwaraya Vidmahe Satyadevaya Dhimahi Tanna Sarva Prachodayat. Om Saishwaraya Vidmahe Satyadevaya Dhimahi Tanna Sarva Prachodayat. Om Saishwaraya Vidmahe Satyadevaya Dhimahi Tanna Sarva Prachodayat. Sai Ram, good evening and good morning to brother joining from the US, but good evening. As he was mentioning earlier, how important the cup of coffee is when you wake up in the morning. This satsang is becoming our ending note for a week and the Kickstarter for the next week. And it's probably the 44th or 44th satsang that's happened thanks to COVID. I should say for that. One thing that you thank for, all of us have tuned in to listen within and to listen to all of you share those wonderful moments with Swami and the life lessons. And we have an amazing, amazing brother here with us. And I'm going to let his classmate introduce him. Sairam, over to you, brother Gopal.
Sairam, Sairam, Sairam. Pranams at the lotus feet of our Divine Mother, who radiates through millions and thousands of people around the world. So Swami has chosen few gems actually to convey his message and live his message. So we have been seeing so many of his torch bearers, basically so-called torch bearers, basically his students and devotees who are who actually represent him in true sense. So one such gem today is we have our Dr. Challa Siva Ramana Kumar. So I'm actually fortunate to be associated with him till since 1980. So actually both of us joined together Prashantinilayam campus in 1980. Those days it was called +1, 11th standard. So I studied till 87, whereas Shivasai, he went on to do his PhD, and he did his PhD sometime early 1990s. So he stayed for quite a number of years, and he has great experience in Prashantinilayam when he was a student, even beyond that, because he has carried Swami through and through. So there was no, there is no, even today there is no link broken. So that is the reason why he is able to express his experience, divine experience, every moment. So he will be sharing such experience. So actually we all lived under the shadow and light provided by Swami. When I say shadow from rain and sun, hostel, college, etc., which Swami had provided. When I say light, it is a benign light of knowledge and wisdom what Swami has given to us and what we are living through. So we are all blessed actually that way. So Shivasai, I should mention that I think he is the third generation devotee of Swami. Swami very very kind. He has taken over his this pious family for the 3+ generations. So he's, I think, probably the third generation who are devotees of Swami. So from childbirth, I'm sure that they are all devotees and they are whole and soul of depended on Swami. He is a very calm person. Even I have seen him through and through during that 7 years of my stay there. Very calm, very dedicated, very pious, very hardworking. I mean, when you are talking about studies, he's excellent. And if you talk about his Veda classes, he's very sincere in attending Veda classes and chanting Vedas, etc., etc. Similarly, he is, I think he has also done some drama in when he was a college student. So he is, apart from that, he is a very excellent singer. So when he is given chance to sing in front of Swami, he practices so much, and he makes sure that he is thorough in that, and he goes and sings, and he pours out his heart, basically because the devotion is there in his heart, and it just comes out. You can feel, when he sings. So he's a great singer. So apart from that, I should mention that his sister is also there serving Swami for almost 30 plus years in Anantapur campus, and she was also the Anantapur student, and she continued to live there, and she is dedicated. Apart from that, professionally, Shiva Sai is nanotechnology specialized in nanotechnology for over 20 plus years, basically. And currently, he is the managing director of an institute in Harvard University. He is living in MA, as all of you know. He is living in MA, and he is in US. So with this, let me close and let me invite my brother Shivasai to, shower make us feel the divine presence. Over to you, Shivasai. Sairam. Jai Sairam.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hello. Hello.
Hari, we can hear you.
You hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay, okay. Sairam Gopala and Sairam everyone. First of all, I am so grateful always for Swami, without whom I don't think I have anything I can call it as myself. I have no identity without Swami. And I say this not from the bookish knowledge or from the examples that Swami always used to tell us, you are zero without me, right? But today I can say from my own experience, finally, when we go through the life, you realize how valuable the lessons that we have learned in Parthi were. So with that, I also want to say what Gopalan has just said is very kind. I am still striving to live up to what he has just mentioned. I'm too far away even to reach that goal. I hope I can at least come to 5 to 10% of what he just described about me. I'm really far away to that image of Gopalan that he painted about me. So, it's very, very difficult, as you all know. And I have my brothers here who have been such an inspiration to me when I was a student in Parthi. And specifically, I want to acknowledge Hariharan brother and Hirak. They continue to inspire me. What is really difficult, I was just saying, is to talk about Swami and to talk about our experiences. I always think of the story we have heard so many times about how do you describe truth, right? 7 blind men and an elephant, right? So at least the 7 blind men had only 7 parts to, feel about the elephant. I think in my case, probably I only know a nano meter of the real truth and real Swami and real experience in life. So please bear with me, when I share something. And I am also sharing this because this is a wonderful opportunity for me to, have a scaffolding of where I am and where I want to be. It helps me to do that analysis. Other very important aspect is that all of us are going through a once in a lifetime pandemic. And this is an experience I don't think we would have survived, but for his grace and love and affection. It is obvious to me for a number of reasons. I think if I look at the way the global effects are being seen with this pandemic, I think we are totally protected by his grace every moment. Sometimes we realize it, sometimes we don't realize it. Many times we take it for granted. And this has been an example culminating every second that we have seen in our lifetimes, but this is an example that totally reinforces that idea why we were special. We were really special. I never believed that for a long time. We were special to have lived in his presence. We have been really special to have gone through the education in his institution. We are special not because we didn't go through the challenges in life. We did go through our own challenges. We continue to go through challenges in life. Swami is not here to make us rich, to make us powerful. Swami is not here to make us healthy all the time. No, I think we have to go through what we have to go through. But I think we are special because Swami gave us the wisdom to look at the life in the right way so that we live the life with all the challenges and vicissitudes of life that we face in the right manner. I know my introduction to what I really want to share with you is really long. And as I said, yeah, there are too many thoughts swirling around in my mind to even to concretize and focus on what I really wanted to talk about today. But one thing that probably I should start focusing on, is the two words that come to me when I talk about or when I think about our life in Prashantinilayam and our life today. The two words are the impressions and inspirations. I think all of us can agree, and all of us have lived, continue to live, that we had wonderful impressions, and we continue to have those impressions. In fact, more energized, I would say, those impressions that we carried from Parthi, and the impressions that we had were inspiring in Parthi, and they are more inspiring today than they were at that time. So I want to focus on these two words for the next 30-40 minutes. Again, I'll keep repeating these two words, impressions and inspirations. So with that, I want to say, this pandemic, again, has transformed my life, and I'm sure everyone's life as well, in a very different and unexpected ways. And so is, I think, as Swami has rightly said, every challenge is meant to transform us, to take us to be a better person, and pandemic is no different. And one transformation that really occurred in my case was that we discovered, myself, my family, and my friends around me here, we discovered a passion for hiking. And it appears to be really simple from one side, that, okay, yeah, so you did hiking. What's so great about it? But I think it's all about the way we look at things. If you remember, I'm sure Gopalan knows, Hariharan ji knows, and Hirak and others know me. I used to feel really, walking from Mandir to the hostel, I would think that, oh my God, I walked miles and miles, I'm tired, I need to sit, right? And I'm sure all of us felt number of times, or going to Mandir. we would say, oh my God, we have to walk so far to go to the mandir or so far to go to the university campus. But if you look at it, it was hardly, I would say, half a mile or probably a mile distance, right? It's all a perspective. But what pandemic has made me discover is a wonderful opportunity to hike a minimum of 4,000 feet high mountain. Okay, and there are a number of them. If you're around here in Massachusetts, there is a neighboring state called New Hampshire. New Hampshire has a presidential range of mountains. Majority of them are 4,000 feet high, but there are also what we call it as 4K footers or 5K footers or 6K footers, right? So the highest among them is the Mount Washington, which is about 6,000 feet. So by the end of the summer, as we approach the fall, we were able to do a number of those mountains hiking. So when I look back to my days in Prashantinilayam, I cannot believe that it's the same person, right? I was complaining about walking for half a mile. Today, I'm able to hike, right, thousands of feet. And I think this is just an example, a very simple example for all of us to understand how Swami is enabling us to cross the boundaries of what we think is possible to what is really possible. That's such an inspiration to me. And the impression that brings me to is, of course, obviously our own little way hiking in Puttaparthi Mountains. Yeah, I still remember, if there was a free time that's left, right? We would walk into the small hills behind the hostel and experience the beauty around us. We could see few villages around us. We could see Prashantinilayam, right? And those were the impressions. But the inspiration was about, hey, reaching at a higher level, taking advantage of the opportunities rather than looking at a challenge. I mean, we could have looked at the pandemic as something that's really unnerving. But on the other hand, I think all of us realized ways to overcome these challenges, to improve ourselves, to make us better. And I'm sure all of us can share many, many stories on similar lines. The second impression, right? The first impression that led me to the inspiration is about the hills around Prashantinilayam and about our own opportunities that we had, hiking through those small hills and walking to Mandir. The second impression that I wanted to, that just occurred to me is about the beautiful bhajans and the darshan. And I thought, let's put this whole experience, the impressions in three different perspectives. So the very first one would be, I would say, my own childhood and how the bhajans were. What was my very first impression of Prashantinilayam was, and what was the lesson, the inspiration that came out of these impressions. Again, I am sure my brothers here can describe these things so much better than me, but these are the thoughts that are coming, and I'm really grateful to all of you that you are here to listen to my thoughts. So I remember the 1970s, that was my very first impression of the whole experience of darshan bhajan. The Prashantinilayam was so different than what we can see today in 1970s. I was a child, and of course, the challenge of journeying all the way to Puttaparthi itself would take us a number of hours to describe. So I'm not even going to go there. But the impression of, coming for darshan, there were very small lines. You would stand in the, you wait for your turn. most often you get the first line, and there was a beautiful sand, and invariably Swami would see you for sure, and most often you would get Pada Namaskar, and quite often you would see Swami recognizing you and speaking to you. And I still remember this, the very first impression. Yeah, I am outside the small compound, the so-called compound, because most of the compound was only the trees. So the devotees were let inside. One by one we would come. And the beauty of that impression is it's true. It is not the mind playing tricks, right? I did experience this. The experience of silence. The 1970s, the silence was golden. The whole Puttaparthi was teeming with, every cell of your body feels that you are in a different place. Everyone is, you feel that you are in Vaikuntha. Maybe that's the way to describe that. It's truly, no matter what problems all of us came with when we entered the mandir and sat in the sand, in the beautiful sand, there is that energy, there is that feeling of, leave all your challenges behind, just be in the moment, enjoy the presence, right? So that was the feeling. So Swami would come. So this particular incident was about, the initiation into studies. So we had the custom that Swami need to do Aksharabhyasam. So my parents' dream was that I should get the Aksharabhyasam done from Swami, because Swami was our family deity. So my father was sitting next to me, and then I was holding this slate, a small slate. And obviously, Swami beautifully walks. And I don't think I have the language to describe the way he would walk. So majestic, so ethereal, I would say, and beautiful steps coming in. And then he's in his world. Each one of us were in our own world. Even as a child, I'm in my own world, but I could sense the majesty of that occasion. So he was walking, and then he sees me, of course. Yeah, he can't miss, right? Seeing, because there were hardly anybody. And he's happy. He is extremely happy, because probably there are connections, right? Coming from several lifetimes, and he's divine. He could see through in a second, probably several lifetimes of who this person is. So he comes to me, picks up the slate, and then takes my hand, and then writes Om 3 times on the slate, right? And all the while, not only looking at the slate, but looking at me as well, blessed me. And this impression, this experience, I would say, is what transformed the life, right? We never realize when you're going through this, right, how it can transform your life. But Swami had the plans to create a pathway for you to become better and better every day. And when I say better and better, it's not just in terms of, our physical well-being, our material well-being. No, that's not at all. It's all about how we change our perspective, right? And it's very easy for me to say today, right? But at that time, I was just being blissful, experiencing the gift that Bhagavan has given me, and feeling proud that I made my parents happy, right? Those were all the very simple things. And the fact that by the time the bhajan is over, beautiful singing going on there, I know I can go back to canteen, have a morsel of curds rice and sambar rice. That's all was served in the canteen. But the taste of which, even now, I don't think I can get it anywhere. It's amazing. So the point I want to make is the perspective, right? So today I can say, if something goes wrong around me or within me, I don't blame anyone. I know I need to change the perspective. The moment I change my perspective, everything is great and wonderful. And this is where, again, Swami used to tell us so many times, I don't think I paid attention to, probably I was reading a book as soon as Swami finished the darshan, and then he goes inside to the interview room. We used to read a lot of books, wonderful, inspiring books, right? Sometimes textbooks if there were examination next day. But we never paid attention to what, Swami said. Swami used to tell us, you wear green glasses, the whole world looks green. You wear red glasses, he says, the whole world looks red. Yeah, we listened. We were so happy looking at him and forgot the next moment, right? The moment we walk out of the mandir, we are talking to our friends and then, forget the beautiful messages that he has given us. But today, when you look back, you see, oh my God, how powerful it is. When we face challenges with our colleagues in our workplace, all that we need to do is, hey, let me think about this in a different way, rather than being cantankerous and say, hey, something is wrong with Guy, he's out to get me, or something is wrong with this group of people, they're trying to do something bad to me. I think that's the wrong perspective. The best perspective I've seen that really works in every aspect, whether it's a personal life, whether it's a work life, social life, anywhere, is wear your white glasses, everything looks beautiful. Wear your green glasses, everything appears green to you, right? I think that's the message that's made me what I am today. And I am sure all of us agree that that's what is making all of us better than what we were last moment, right? So coming back to that 1970s bhajan, so if Swami finishes the darshan, and the routine is Swami would take us, some of us, to the interview room. Bhajans would start sharp up to a dot, right? On the second, whatever the time that Swami choose for that particular period, right? And the bhajans were also beautiful. The nature of the bhajans have slightly changed from 1970s to 2000 to today, right? But the bhajans lifts you up internally, right? Lifts up your spirit. So I just want to share with you, I am taking this risk of trying to sing in front of Hariharan and Hira, but I think these are the very simple bhajans of 1970. But I just wanted to, relive those moments. So there are a couple of bhajans I just wanted to, sing, just maybe the one or two lines to bring you back to that spirit of 1970 bhajans darshan, right? Narayana Hari Narayana. It's very simple, but just it lifts you up to a different world. Maybe that's what people call it as stratosphere, right? Narayana Hari Narayana Narahari Rupa Namo Narayana Narayana Hari Narayana Nirajanayana Niradhishayana Narada Sannuta Namo Narayana Narada Sannuta Namo Narayana. And then I also remember this song. Garuda Vahana Narayana He Shashayana Narayana Garuda Vahana Narayana. And then, of course, yeah, there are beautiful bhajans very specifically sung by people like Raja Reddy, right? Prata Smaranam, Sri Guru Charanam. So there are a host of thousands of bhajans like that. But then that is the spirit of 1970s. That's the impressions that I carry. Now, as we finish the bhajan ends, of course, with a beautiful Vibhuti mantram, right? Again, I was doing it, I was chanting it pretty routinely. Like the way we breathe, we were doing it. I don't think I understood the power of these impressions, the inspiration that these impressions carried, right? Baba Vibhut Paramam Vichitram Leela Vibhutim Paramartha Ishtartha Moksha Pradatam Baba Vibhutim Idamashrayami. This is, again, it's a beautiful impression of 1970s bhajan. So the way I am looking at it today is, in 1970s, as a child, when I went there for darshan, continued to sit there for bhajan, finish it beautifully with this Vibhuti mantra. It's a cycle of experiences and impressions, right? You forget all your challenges. Remember, even as a child, you would have your own challenges. Maybe my mom has not given me 5 paise to, buy a chocolate. It's bothering me, right? But I'm leaving that behind, sitting for darshan and bhajan, coming back, and I completely forget about all my, grievances, whatever they are. And I'm at peace within myself to take the next challenge in my life. And that is the cycle. That is the impression of the 1970s. And it carried through, say, if you look at the 2000s, for example, right? It's the same cycle. What changed was probably the timing. What changed was, it's no longer a small crowd. What changed was, that you have now thousands and thousands of people, right, waiting for Swami's darshan. While Swami is far away physically, he may not even see you, right? At least that's what you would think, right? You would also think and attribute to Swami all kinds of complexities of your own mind, right? But what is really clear is that I am forgetting all the challenges that I faced, right? Leaving everything, enjoying that beautiful darshan, bhajan, and ending with this Vibhuti mantra, and going ahead to face the challenges, the next round of challenges, even better way, right? So there is one, the 2000s, the differences are again in terms of the bhajans, right? So here are a couple of bhajans. I love bhajans. I may sing in out of Shruti and out of Thalam, but the listening to bhajans really just changes me completely, right? So here are a couple of bhajans. Giridhara Bala He Nandalala. So by the time, the 90s and 2000 came, bhajans became slow, more melodious, contemplative, right? You could start thinking in your own mind, it's no longer Narayana, Hari Narayana. That's a spirit, energizing spirit. And then slowly moved in 90s and 2000 to contemplative, more inward, in my view, right? Giridhara Bala He Nandalala. What a beautiful song, right? Jayama, Jayama, Daya Karo Sai Ma. Right? So this particular song would take you inside. Not that, I was evolved at that time to understand the nuances of it. But as I said, the impressions and inspirations have become many-fold as we move along in this life, right? So I'm describing to you these impressions and inspirations today. So Swami made us to look a little bit more and more inward, moving from highly energetic, forgetting our world around us, to taking us more inward, right? Experiencing that bliss, experiencing that divinity. And then if you look at bhajans today, it's the same thing. You leave all your worries, all your problems, enter the Prashantinilayam. You sit there. Now your expectation is that physically Swami is not going to be walking, right? But you are there, you are seeing him inside you. You're experiencing him inside you. And when you listen to these bhajans, there is a transformation of seeing Swami within you, feeling him, feeling the divinity within you, feeling the power within you, right? And again, finish the cycle with Paramam Pavitram Baba Vibhutim Paramam Vichitram Leela Vibhutim. This part is really, to me, is so powerful. Paramadha Ishtadha Moksha Pradatam. Paramadha Ishtadha Moksha Pradatam. Bhava Vibhutim Idamashrayami. So from the 1970s, energetic singing, right? Ending up with asking Swami and believing that vibhuti that Swami is giving us, Paramartha Ishtartha Moksha Pradatam. That vibhuti is what is going to fulfill the highest wealth that we can aspire to. Wealth is not just money, right? Money is for living. The wealth is health. The wealth is your peace of mind, right? The wealth is the wealth of the people around you. The wealth is the wealth of the peace of people around you. The peace of the people in this world, right? So it encompasses everything. Paramadha, Ishtardha. And Swami, took us again from that energetic bhajan where we are asking Swami to give us the Paramartha, and we are also asking Swami to give us the Ishtardha, right? Any desire that we can think of, any dream that we want to get fulfilled in this life, we are asking, placing at his lotus feet and saying, please fulfill us. And Swami is saying, you surrender yourself to that vibhuti. I mean, imagine, right? Swami says, you surrender to vibhuti, you're going to get everything. Now imagine if you're surrendering to that divinity, to Swami himself, what else could happen, right? What else can happen? It is so powerful. So again, coming back to the 1970s bhajans, that you are doing this with so much of energy, but keeping that physical Swami in your mind, always aspiring for his attention. And you move to 2000, now you are slowly becoming inward, and you are asking the Swami within you, right? And also gaining the inspiration from the physical Swami. But at the same time, now you're slowly asking and relying on the power within you to aspire for that wealth, that paramartha, aspiring for that ishtardha, whatever desires you may have. And then now if you look at it today, you're asking for that same thing, but you believe that it is within you to make it happen. And Swami is within you to make it happen, right? And then now today, if I go to Boston Sai Center, and it's exactly the same cycle, right? I go through same challenges whole week in my life. And then I go to the Boston Sai Center and then start the same cycle of, the bhajans, and then ending up with Paramam Pavitram Baba Vibhutim, right? Paramartha Ishtartha Moksha Pradatam. I go to the Sai Center thinking about, oh my God, okay, how am I going to face these challenges next week? And then I leave everything behind, enjoy these beautiful bhajans. Now, the beauty of Boston Sai Center, I'm sure all Sai Centers in the world, is that now we have a combination of bhajans spanning 1970s all the way to 2021, right? So that combines everything, all the impressions that we have been carrying throughout these decades of our association with Swami. But again, ending up with this Paramartha Ishtartha Moksha Pradatam Baba Vibhutim Idamashrayami. Swami, we are relying on you, right? And here is, again, to me, is so powerful that we are part of this Sai family. The third part of this Vibhuti mantra, Paramartha Ishtartha, and then Swami didn't stop there. Swami said, it's okay to aspire for what you want, right? It's okay to aspire for riches. There's nothing wrong in it, right? But Swami also said, Moksha Pradatam. He didn't leave it there. Paramartha Ishtartha Moksha Pradatam. So he says, yeah, aspire for riches, aspire for everything in this world, be successful. Swami used to take so much pleasure in us being successful. He would always ask us, hey, how many students got ranks, right? So Swami was very joyful. He wanted us to succeed. He wanted us to be the rishis who are successful in this world, right? But at the same time, he didn't want us to forget what our ultimate goal was, right? Korina dediyo korane koritivi, korika chelludaka viduvakundu. This is a beautiful poem that Swami, we listened to Swami so many times. And the meaning of this is, whatever you wanted to ask, you asked me. It's okay, there's nothing wrong. But don't give it up till you get that desire fulfilled. Don't leave my feet till you get that desire fulfilled, right? So to me, I think, again, these are all my impressions, right? Reinforced, re-energized every day of my life. And the strength is becoming, it's like a hurricane. So when I was sitting in front of Swami listening to this, yeah, I'm honest with you, I paid scant attention, right? But every part of the journey from then onwards, it's like when you have hurricanes, it reinforces, right? The power of these jumps that we learned at the lotus feet. So the important thing here is, in my view, yeah, aspire, achieve the best that we can, right? And ultimately, Swami is going to take care of what we need to desire, right? He's going to give us what he thinks is best for us. We can keep asking. There's nothing wrong in asking. That's in my view, right? And he is one God. He is one divinity where we go to him just not to fulfill our desires, but right? But also fulfill the ultimate desire that he wanted us to have. I mean, we go to Tirupati, right? We go to any temple. And especially these days, it breaks my heart to see hundis. There are more hundis than deities around in any temple. Even the so-called, temples that have been there for thousands of years, I see more hundis asking for money than the powerful, idols that we should be focusing on. You go to Tirupati. Most of us go to Tirupati because we want some desires to be fulfilled. And there's no one to tell us in these temples that the ultimate desire is to realize yourself, right? Whereas Swami has been telling us from the beginning. When he started first speaking, he said, Divyatma Swarupulara, right? I don't think, I ever paid attention to that simple word. But Swami has always been telling, I'm going to fulfill all your desires. I'll give you the riches that you want. I'll give you, the power that you have been, craving for. Till he's also making us move in the direction of changing our perspective and start aspiring for what is truly important, and that is the beauty of this Vibhuti mantra that we have seen throughout being part of the Sai family and the Sai journey. Again, I come back to the pandemic that made me realize the value of these impressions, right? Swami would say, I am there with you all the time. And yeah, we listen, right? And we always would think, hey, I need to write a letter to Swami to tell him, something is going on at my home front. I need to go. I need Swami's permission. So we send letters. And we would, at that time, we had even opportunities to, knock on the door after bhajans to give our letters in the very beginning stages, right? We all took it for granted. We all thought only when Swami reads that letter, Swami would respond, right? And Swami was saying, no, I am there with you every moment of your life, wherever you are, whichever part of the world you are. Who knew what the world was at that time when we were in Prashantinilayam? All our world was that little village. All our world was the small university and the darshan. Nothing else. That's all our world. We could never imagine what the world was, right? But today we can imagine, we can experience this world. And what it struck me this time during the pandemic, or because of the pandemic, the global bhajans. While I always enjoyed these beautiful bhajans, this time it was phenomenal. I mean, there are no words to describe this, because I was able
You're
to hear
perfect.
from 186 countries, 156 countries, right?
Perfect.
Sorry, you were saying something?
Perfect.
Oh, thank you. Reinforcing that Swami is there all around us, no matter wherever we are, right? And those bhajans were so beautiful. The other thing that really inspires, right? Starting from the very first impression of, Swami saying, Swami is there everywhere, right? But how do you see that today? When I go to any city, any town, in any country in this world, which I had the wonderful opportunity to travel, right? All that I need to do is go to a Sai center, right? And there is someone, and that someone in the Sai center, and many times it used to be our own alumni, right? Would be so happy to see me than my own cousins and brothers and sisters, right? And that bond, where else can you have that bond? And this is a bond that you would need to experience in different parts of the world to really see the implications of that. And when Swami said, I am with you, around you, it is the Sai family that is around us. And sometimes I wonder, I don't know if some of us remember the early 1970s or probably 80s. There used to be movies, right? Is Rama greater than his devotees, or Krishna greater than his devotees, right? And is Anjaneya greater than Rama? I mean, there were beautiful movies based on these Puranic stories, right? I think there is no single answer to that. To me, I think Swami's devotees are more amazing and more inspiring, and I would say more powerful than Swami himself, right? To me. And when I see these Swami's devotees in Sai centers, right, they energize me, they inspire me, and I know they have my back. I just don't need even to communicate and say, hey, I need this help. Swami make them realize, that Sai devotees around the world, if they need something, they just materialize. God knows where they come from, right? This is an experience I am sure many of us have experienced, but I say this from my own heart, right? We move around the world to different towns and cities and trying to, make a home. we have to realize the experience of others to see, to understand how powerful this presence of Sai is. If you're not part of this Sai family, imagine you're moving to a new city, you don't know anyone, right? And you're trying to figure out a way to live, figure out a way to make a social circle, right? It's hard. It's very hard to fall into place in a new environment. It's extremely hard. But I tell you from my own experience that the moment you get out of your flight, right, you feel you are at home. You think you are in a new place, right? Only it's namesake. You're in Boston, you're in Baton Rouge, you're in Bangalore, you're in Calcutta. These are all just the names, but you have Swami waiting for you. Swami's family is waiting for you. This is something, it's an experience. It's an impression that came from the very beginning in our Prashantinilayam, reinforced again. I say reinforced with as power as a hurricane coming in our way. So, I can go on and on, giving you more examples as to how these impressions, which we can attention with which we have experienced in Prashantinilayam, I experienced, and I'm pretty sure many of my brothers were, so much better than me. But these are the impressions that I didn't pay attention to, but Swami didn't leave me. She made sure that these impressions were reinforced. He made sure that I changed my glasses, right? That is the whole purpose of, us being Swami's children. So so all that I can say is, thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity, for me to get up in the morning and to look forward to this, an inspirational time to catch up with brothers who have inspired me in my hostel days, in my student days, and I continue to look forward to their inspiration. I continue to look forward to the inspiration of Swami and Swami's devotees, who are, I would say they are more divine, if I can use the word more or less, or, in spiritual terms. But again, I'm so grateful to Swami, and I'm so grateful to all of you. And I am grateful to Gopalan, who has been with me from the moment I stepped into Prashantinilayam in that little shed, right? And we shared so many moments of bondage. That's the, brotherhood of what Swami was talking about, right? Brotherhood of mankind and fatherhood of God. And that's just another way to describe it. So thank you so much again, Sai Ram.
Sai Ram. Are you now?
Sai Ram, my dear S.S.R Ramana Kumar, you just carried us with you, with your heartfelt expression of the life we had, the impressions and the inspiration. It is just heart-touching. And I still remember you singing bhajans, and still I remember you the sweet way you always talked, and the way you also, conducted yourself. And even today, I find you have not changed a bit away from that what you were. Whatever Swami has taken you worldwide, but you are a great thinker, a deep thinker, and so simple terms. You have put so nicely everything, and your experiences matches everyone's life also. It is not, as you rightly told, it is with everyone. Everyone must have taken it lightly. Later, these are all revealed. First time Swami, spoke, but it was revealed much later in our lives. And on behalf of all the Singapore brethren and all our Sai brothers who are here, all of them, I should pray to Swami that he keeps you and your family in the same spirit. And then, as you rightly told, Paramartha Ishtartha Moksha Pradata. So all the three, Iha Parasukadayaka and Moksha also, he should give all of us, and he should always be with us, as you say, in devotees. You see Swami. So that is the right aspect. It's like Advars. They don't go to God Narayana. They always worship their, the beings and the gurus as God, through whom they can experience divinity. And this is what the essence of talk from you. You are like a Alvar. You are a great thinker, I know. And I just, for the sake of all the people here, is Sister Radhaji. She's a professor from Anantapur College. She is also the bhajan group in charge, lecturer in charge. A very, very nice person, father, mother. The whole family is lovely. And Shivasai always had a very special place in the heart. On behalf of all of us, I, gratefully thank you to take out your time and be with us this morning of yours and evening of ours. Have a wonderful new year ahead, and Sai bless you. Jai Sai Ram.
Sairam, thank you.
Anybody?
Yeah, all I can say is when I spoke to him first to ask him to speak, he said he has to think and come up. Now, always it's easy to come out and share experiences, but then to try and define what is constant in our experience, in our journey, that's been beautiful, because everything remains the same. It's our perspective to how we look at it, whether it's the tempo of the bhajan to the subtlety of the nuances of the bhajan or the words of the bhajan that goes in. And I think you've beautifully summed up over a very, very simple domain of topic, and reiterating that change the glasses and the vision, and what you see changes too accordingly. I mean, that's so beautifully put today. I think blessed to have brother address us today and bring out, or at least remind us of what remains constant and what needs the change in perspectives to see things differently or experience things differently. So I guess,
And
yeah.
I asked my brother Gopal, introduce. He told, I won't talk like that. I told, no, you are all fantastic people. You should introduce. And then he was flowing. And I'm happy that, Shivasai came. Hirag, you want to say something? Please say.
No,
So
no,
that,
no, no, nothing much. Shivasai, why don't you sing a bhajan?
See, I was about to ask that, and I knew he's going to ask that too. Some 70s. Let's go back to one or two 70s.
Go back to 70s. Oh, okay. Thank you so much. I'm really honored that Hira wants to listen to my singing. But, I love singing for whatever it is, right? Yeah, that is the one that connects all of us to Swami. It's so amazing. Yeah, let me see what I can sing. Yeah. So this is one of my songs that I like because, again, when I talk about the impressions, right? You come to a stage, you realize that your true happiness just doesn't depend only on your own happiness, but happiness around the world, happiness around, people around you. You realize how important it is. Sometimes you also feel that the happiness around you is more important than your own happiness. So this is a beautiful bhajan that, I love this, okay? Jayama Anandamayi Janani सबको कृपा करो जननी, साई दया करो जननी, जय मां आनंदमयी जननी, सबको कृपा करो जननी, भक्त जनों के मंगल करिणी, भक्त जनों के मंगल करिणी, मंगल करो जननी मां, मंगल करो जननी, तुम हो प्रेमदायिनी मां, तुम हो प्रेमदायिनी, सबको कृपा करो जननी, साई दया करो जननी, जय मां आनंदमयी जननी, सबको कृपा करो जननी. I mean, the beauty of this song is the second line, Sabko Kripa Karo. So may Swami bless all of us with the best of everything in life.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks a lot, Saidam.
Yeah.
Um,
No, one thing is there. No, see, this song was composed like the Sabko Kripa Karo Janani. Afterward, Swami also introduced that Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. You remember? Yeah, this
Yes.
was composed. This song was composed much before Swami's instruction. One more thing, Siva, is that all of us are very proud. You know, like at Swami would say, "Mana Pilale." You know, all of us are very proud of what you have gone through and what has life given you in terms of your lessons that are there, but also the fact that, you know, in the worldly wise, the achievements that you have achieved in your life. No, all of us are very proud of that, and all of us can always say that, see, Manapillale means
Correct.
he's from our institute. Okay.
Correct.
Yeah. So,
Correct, Hirak.
Thank you.
You're right. Well said.
yeah.
Saira.
You know, because when we used to sing bhajans sometimes, and if you are singing bhajans very well, no, Swami will come out and talk with the guests outside and say, "Chudu, chudu, ma pillalu partunar." It's like that proud
Correct.
thing. No, you should be very very happy that you have maybe you have made Swami proud of the fact that you studied in this institute. Yeah. Yeah, that's about it, man. I don't think there's anything further. I mean, Venkat or Hari, you want to talk?
I told.
I'm absolutely in bliss. Every week it happens and it'll continue as long as possible. So Sundays, the schedule has changed for the week. Actually, it's also a slightly problem for a few of us. We all, it's like, you know, you're led to a crescendo at the end of the day, and we have trouble going to sleep. You want to read something, or you want to be in contemplation for more. It's like as if you're
Yeah.
it's like the suprabhadam for the day, but
Mm.
happening at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You know?
Correct.
So that's how these satsangs are, and I look forward to the next Sunday. We'll go back to our normal time, half an hour earlier,
Earlier, okay, yeah.
and you'll get to know who the speaker is. I get to know slightly earlier than you, and he's the one who decides who speaks every week.
And Siva, also getting up so early, okay, for talking to us. No? Thank you for that. Oh,
I think all of us will agree on one thing. We have to get up early. That's there in our DNA. Thanks to Prashant.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Hirak, you made sure that I got up at 4 o'clock for this program.
No, not at though.
as the
It's
a
been a
room
long
lead,
time.
as the room lead.
Yeah, Hirak was a very strict room leader. Yeah.
We have not seen that side of Brother Hirok.
Oh, he can be very strict. Yeah, I can tell you that.
And I can be also very, very ruthless in telling my comments. But Siva, I'll tell you one thing. All of this all passed by, but like we are now presently the way you are presently. So I understand how difficult it is in the present time. See, it's very cold, I guess, in Massachusetts. Is it
He said it's a warm
Yeah.
day today for 5 degrees.
a warm day?
He's grateful for a positive number. It's a positive day in terms of the
Yeah.
degrees.
Perspective, right perspective.
Exactly. That's going to linger for a few more minutes. That glass thing is going to be there. This is going to be change your glasses. Seems to be the carryover for tonight.
Yeah.
Sai Ram, we'll finish with Samasta Lokas. Thank you so very much, brother, for joining us.
Sairam. Yeah.
And as always, wonderful to have the Ratnas joining in. It makes us feel a student always. So with that, we'll finish off with Samasta Lokas. Samastalokaah Sukhino Bhavantu. 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 Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Jai Bolo Bhagwan Shri Satya Sai Baba Ji ki.
Jai.
Sai Ram and good night. Looking forward to seeing you all next week. Sai Ram. Thank you, brother.